Greetings, all you movie junkies and entertainment lovers, and welcome to another edition of Movie Junkies Media Talk. I'm your host, King Brass, and I'm once again joined by Javier. How's it going today, Hav?
Hello there. Welcome to Movie Junkies Media Talk.
Yes. And of course, for those of you who are new here, Movie Junkies Media Talk is a show that we do where we talk about all the latest things in the world of movies. And today we're going to be talking about the Monsterverse. And of course, it's just recently, of course, Godzilla vs. Kong finally, after years and years and years of waiting, has finally came out and is currently the latest chapter of the Monsterverse. And it is also as of right now, it would seem to be the last one because there are currently no official announcements about another MonsterVerse film. Now, of course, up to this point, all of the MonsterVerse movies have had very, very mixed reactions. Godzilla 2014 had very mixed reactions, but it was a box office hit. It was able to make over $500 million at the box office. Kong Skull Island was the most successful of the bunch. It did very well worldwide. Never think it was the most kind of well received by general sort of audience goers and stuff. It was the biggest box office hit of all the monster movies, made $506 million worldwide. And then you had Godzilla King of the Monsters, which was absolutely adored by Godzilla fans and stuff. But it was it kind of alienated the general movie-going audiences, and it was also the lowest-grossing one of the bunch, making $386 million. And now we, of course, most recently have had Godzilla vs. Kong, which is faring very well. It's having mostly positive reactions. Honestly, you could argue it's the most successful one so far. As of this recording, the film has made in theaters. It has made over 285 million currently. So it's getting very, very close to Godzilla King of the Monsters box office. And honestly, considering we are living in a pandemic world where it's limited capacity and tons of theaters around the globe are still closed and stuff, if this can get even close to Godzilla King of the Monsters box office, they would be stupid not to continue it, because that is a massive hit for the post-pandemic world. And also considering that a lot of people in the US are half of the audiences are not going to see it in theaters, actually signing up for HBO Max. So if it makes close or even more than Godzilla King of the Monsters box office, and I think if it makes more, then obviously, yeah, it's you need to continue, obviously. But if it makes even close, and it also generates a ton of new subscriptions for HBO Max, and it's getting positive buzz as well, then I think you're stupid not to do another one. Would you agree with that, huh?
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah. So, and looks like right now it is on track to possibly doing that, probably. So it's looking very, very well for Godzilla vs. Kong right now. And it looks like the Monsterverse could continue. And right now, one of the most trending hashtags right now is, of course, hashtag continue the Monsterverse. And it's been trending right now for a couple of days now. And so a lot of people want to see the Monsterverse continue, and even Legendary themselves recognize the continue the Monsterverse hashtag and stuff. So things are looking great right now for the Monsterverse. But the question is, since they have not announced what another movie, at least not officially, since they haven't announced another movie officially, the question remains, what could the next one, the next chapter be? What could it be? And so in this video, we are going to go through a list of what I think will be the contenders for the next Monsterverse movie. Now, Hav, when I read these off, you will give me your thoughts on, if you give me your thoughts on how likely you think they are, and if you think they're a good idea or not a good idea. And then once we're done with that, we can kind of, go into kind of what, we think our own kind of ideas about where it could go and stuff like that. And you could kind of give your thoughts off. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. So this is a list about 5 or 6 of these about what I think will be the most likely candidates for the next Monsterverse chapter. So number one. The first, and in no particular order, but number one, the first thing that I think is a likely next chapter is a Rodan film directed by
Hmm.
Michael Dougherty.
Hmm.
Now Michael Dougherty talked about in the past how Rodan was the original Rodan film was his all-time favorite of the classic, kaiju Godzilla movies and stuff, and how he liked to think that this Rodan was almost like a like left there by the Rodans in the original film,
Yeah.
even though obviously it's not connected. And so I believe he once said that maybe doing a Rodan movie where he kind of remakes that original film and does it almost as like a prequel film. So we find out how the Rodan and King of the Monsters Eve got there in the first place could be a possible future movie.
Yeah.
And of course, as everybody knows, another reason why I think this is a possibility is because let's face it, Godzilla King of the Monsters was a very mixed film. It was fared very mixed reactions from people. But when you look at the general reactions to that movie, you look at what people were saying about that movie when it comes to positive things about the movie. The number one most positive thing that people generally agreed about was really great about that movie was the Rodan sequence when he came out of the
Hmm.
volcano.
Yes.
And for a lot of people, that was the best sequence in the entire film. So that also, to me, makes, if I'm at Legendary, I'm like looking, what do we do next? Like, well, everybody loved that scene in King of the Monsters. And Michael Dougherty's up for doing a Rodan film. Boom, let's do that. Let's do Rodan. So that is possibility number one. How likely do you think that is?
I would. I mean, it's pretty high.
You
In
think
my
it's
opinion,
pretty likely?
yes. I think it'd be really cool to have another Rodan film. Well,
Mm-hmm.
on Legendary's Rodan. It's it's been like a long time since Rodan has actually got his like a single movie on him.
Well, it was only once. So,
Yeah, but I think it'd be a very good idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the next chapter going. Uh, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea.
all right. So, the next, number two, the next possible next chapter of the Monsterverse. Sticking with Michael Dougherty. Sticking with Michael Dougherty, of course, did talk about before about doing a Godzilla prequel film focusing on the ancient civilization that coexisted with the Titans.
Hmm.
Michael Dougherty did talk about possibly doing a film of that nature, and also Adam Wingard.
Oh.
Adam Wingard, director of King of Godzilla vs. Kong, recently said in one of the interviews that he thinks that people are ready for a movie where there is very little humans, and most of it is the monsters,
Hmm.
the Titans. And considering that his movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, is a good chunk, massive chunk of it is just primarily focused on the monsters, and they treated us as real characters. And considering that it is arguably very successful, possibly the most successful one, then I think that also makes that project more possible. And that was another aspect of Godzilla King of the Monsters that a lot of people were very interested in, is what is up with this ancient civilization? And of course, another thing was that you had the remains of what was clearly supposed to be Anguirus. Anguirus there. So the big question became is how did this ancient civilization, how were they able to coexist with the Titans? So there's a lot of intrigue there. You could have Anguirus in there. We could find out what happened to Anguirus. All this kind of stuff. So how likely do you think a Godzilla prequel film about the ancient civilization that coexisted with the Titans, how likely do you think that this movie is?
Oh, I think this is actually this is definitely going to happen. I don't think it's going to be the next movie.
You think this is definitely going to happen?
Well, I feel like it,
Well,
but
what makes you think that it's definitely going to happen?
I
That's a
think
pretty bold
I know
statement that you think it's
it's pretty
definitely
bold,
going to happen.
and it could very much be wrong, but
Right. I mean,
I
this is speculation at the end of the day, but definitely is a very strong word.
like. I mean, I mean, I guess that this could also be this could also be told in like maybe like the comic books maybe as well if they wanted to, but I mean,
Or an
I would
anime movie, maybe.
yes, I would like love to see at least that story with just mostly just the monsters and the ancient civilization, just at least uh like just maybe like a series just happen
A
because
series could be. But
I
as a
think
movie, do you think it's possible?
I mean maybe I
So
mean
maybe you don't think it's quite like it's definitely going to
maybe
happen.
maybe not for the movie, but I think it
Oh, so
is
when
definitely
you
going
say
to be.
it's going to definitely happen, you don't mean, yeah, because I'm talking about it as a movie, the next Monsterverse movie. So, as the next Monsterverse movie, how likely do you think that this is?
Oh well, then the next Monsters film because I feel like this is going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be the next one. I think it's too
So you don't
big.
think this is going to be the next movie?
No, I think this is too
Not
big
at
of a
all. No
deal.
chance.
No,
So we went from definitely to no chance.
yes. Well, I think they're definitely
So
going
when
to
you
make.
say definitely, you're talking about you think that this is we are going to see the story in either a comic
Yes,
book or an animated film or an animated series or something like that.
yes,
Okay, well, fair enough. That all right. I mean, that's there you go. So you think that's a no as the next chapter?
yeah. It's going a bit too far
You think
to be
it's
there.
going too far? I mean, not according to Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard thinks we are ready, and I think he's right. I think we would be ready. So I don't know. We'll see
Well,
what happens.
maybe just wait till maybe like a few films. Maybe build it up a
Well,
bit more.
so you think it could be done? So okay. So wait a minute. You think it still could be done as a movie? You just don't think it's going to be the next one?
No.
Because I don't see how they could build it up, considering it would have to take place in the past. So I don't see how they could build
Well, I
that
mean,
up.
they could like uh build it up as like having like more having uh much more to do with like maybe the main stuff that's happening in the Monsterverse,
So you
possibly.
think that there could be like another
It could be,
movie that it somehow like ties into what this ancient civilization was doing or whatever? Is that what you think?
yeah,
Okay. Well, I mean that's that's I mean who knows? I mean to be fair, that kind of already is with the last two movies about them trying to coexist with the Titans and figure out where do we stand and all this stuff. And that was one of the whole reason why they built Mechagodzilla and stuff in the last movies because they felt that they needed to control the Titans and stuff, that we need to stay as the dominant species on the planet and stuff like that. So I would argue that they kind of already been doing that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, so that's number two. Do you have any more thoughts on that before we move on?
no.
All right, so that's number two. Number three. Number three is uh probably to me this one is the most unlikely. To
Okay, let me
me,
hear
this
it.
is the most unlikely one, and that's this. Kong Skull Island prequel film.
Oh,
Kong Skull Island prequel film. Now, where I'm getting this from is because Jordan Vogt Roberts, the director of Kong Skull Island, has talked about in the past about how he would like to see, or had joked before. He originally kind of joked about it, how doing like a movie about basically that takes place in during the opening credits of Kong Skull Island, if that makes sense. So after John C. Riley's character landed on the island, and what he did up until the characters in the Kong Skull Island movie,
oh,
and how he became friends with the other soldier guy, and how he died, and how he was able
Mhm.
to find the natives and stuff. You know, he originally joked about doing a movie about all of that stuff, but then he said, I think it was on like the commentary track or something, he said that he had actually spoken to some folks at Legendary, and they actually really liked the idea and said that it could be maybe they could do that. So that is, I think this is a possibility, but the reason I think it's the most unlikely is because of the Skull Island prequel series that we're getting.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's very possible that this is some, we don't really know for sure when it's going to be taking place. I mean, we know but it could be taking place in that time period. And so it's possible that that character could show up, maybe, and they
True.
could actually cover it in that animated series. So to me, I feel like it's very likely that they could be already kind of compromising that for the new animated series that's coming. But how likely do you think this is?
I think what you said is, I think it's most likely that that's going to happen. I don't really see it as the
Yeah.
next chapter.
You think this isn't likely at all for the next movie?
Nah, I don't really see it,
No.
to be
But
honest.
here's one reason why I think it still has a chance. And that's simply this. Kong Skull Island was the most successful one of the bunch. It was the most successful one. So if I'm Legendary, I could be thinking, well, people really like that one, so let's do something that's connected to that. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, again, I agree with you that it's probably the most unlikely, but I do think it is still possible. So any more thoughts on that before we move on?
No, no.
All right. So moving on. And this one, sticking with King Kong, this one to me is the one that I actually want to see the most.
Okay.
This is the one that I want them, not only do I want them to do, but I think is the most likely. And that is this. So, for number 4, Hollow Earth Kong film.
Oh,
And
okay.
the reason I think this is most likely is because, of course, Adam Wingard did say in an interview that originally there was supposed to be a post-credit scene. And that they had done a post-credit scene, but he said that the post-credit scene was now in the movie. And I don't know about you, Huff, but to me it is painfully, completely 100% obvious what the post-credit scene was. And that is that part of the end where they show that Kong is back in the Hollow Earth. To me, it's pretty obvious that that was what the post-credit scene was. So the fact that that was going to be the post-credit scene teasing for the future, teasing a Hollow Earth Kong film, to me makes it the most likely. And to me, the reason I want this one to happen so much is because there's so much great potential for future, not just for one movie, but multiple movies in the future. And to me, all the best stuff in Godzilla vs. Kong was the stuff that took place in the Hollow Earth. I love the look of the Hollow Earth. It was very reminiscent of Peter Jackson's Kong, the look of it and everything. And I want to see more of it. I want a video game that takes place in the Hollow Earth. I want movies that take place in the Hollow Earth. I want a Monarch TV series that takes place in the Hollow Earth. I want more Hollow Earth. And to me, this is now the Hollow Earth universe, not the Monsterverse. It's the Hollow Earth verse. I want to see more of the Hollow Earth. I want to see what the hell that weird frog lizard thing was and what he was doing. So, how likely do you think this is?
I think it's very likely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think it would also be really, really cool to have a Hollow Earth movie with Kong, because just him exploring the Hollow Earth a lot more, and maybe like going a lot more in depth.
Yeah,
with
go
it.
and maybe discovering what happened to his ancestors and how
Yeah.
they built the throne and stuff, and like there's so
Mm-hmm.
much potential. There's so much potential to see other creatures and monsters and yeah.
I I like the idea with the video game. I
Yes.
I think that'd be really really cool.
Hmm. So you think this is? Would you say of the ones I've read off, you think this is the most likely currently?
Yeah, it's that and the first one with the Rodan.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, do you agree with me what I was saying about how the ending of Godzilla vs Kong, how it was clearly supposed to be the post-credit scene? Do you agree with
Yeah.
me or not?
I do agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see what else could have been the post-credit scene, but yeah.
Mm.
So that is number four. Now, number five. Number five, um, is a doozy.
Oh.
Number five, Godzilla, destroy all monsters.
Oh.
Yes. So the next, so they could maybe just do like a full-on like Endgame, Infinity War type of action, get in, throw in all the monsters, all of them, and just do some just full-on alien invasion. There's aliens come, they control the monsters,
Yep.
basically do destroy all monsters, but in the Monsterverse, and just go all out, big epic final chapter, and and then that's it, and then the rights revert back to Toho or whatever. Um, Hav, what do you think about this? Now, there's been no, unlike the other movies that I've mentioned, the other movies have there's been actual real people who have been involved with the MonsterVerse that have talked about that as a possible future film.
Mm.
This one is the first one I'm mentioning that has not actually been officially talked about by anybody. So there's really nothing to go on that this could be it, but the thing is, uh, we've introduced a lot of the monsters and stuff, right? We know Toho is very interested in pulling back Godzilla for themselves, and they're not really, even though I think obviously that is silly considering they basically get
Mm.
free money from this. But
Yeah.
apparently Toho they don't really want to. They always seem to want to take it back from Legendary for some reason, and so it looks like
Mm.
they may they if there is another movie that could be the last one. So if you only have the opportunity to do one more, then it's like,
Oh
well, screw it. Let's just go all out. Let's bring in all the monsters. Let's resurrect Ghidorah. Just destroy all monsters in the MonsterVerse. Bring everybody in. It would be epic, and it would be pretty awesome. Get
yeah.
Kong back in there. Get everybody back in there. Have King Kong and destroy monsters finally, like
Yeah.
you're really supposed to be. So, um,
Mhm.
of how like I mean though before I get to you, I will say this: Gareth Edwards, right?
Mhm.
Gareth Edwards, who course directs, who started this whole universe with Godzilla 2014, he did say in an interview that he would be up for coming back to do another chapter, another MonsterVerse movie. He would be willing to come back. I mean, it sounds like all four directors would be willing to come back to do
Mm.
another one. But he also did say but the thing about Gareth Edwards is that he didn't specify what he wanted to do exactly, if it'd be another Godzilla movie or something else. So if this is going to be the last one, I can't think of who better to direct it than the guy
Mm.
who started it. Like,
Yeah.
bring in the guy who started it, or, and I know this might turn some heads, but a person who I think would be great for a MonsterVerse movie, a director who
Oh.
I
Mm.
would love to see this director do a MonsterVerse movie, and I think they'd be perfect for it, and that director is Zack Snyder.
Oh really?
Does that know what
Oh.
I was gonna say?
Oh no. I was sort of thinking of what it could be in it. That was not.
Who did you think I was gonna say? Do you not
I was
agree?
like,
I think Zack Snyder would
no.
be perfect for a MonsterVerse movie. I do.
I mean, I think it might do well. I think he could.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
it's
he could
nothing
be
being
a good.
confirmed, but yeah, I just thought that
Yeah, even
Uh,
Gareth Edwards.
who would you like to? Who would you like prefer to
Well, I was
direct
always.
this Destroy All Monsters movie?
I don't know. I always thought of Steven Spielberg because I know
Oh,
he's a
yeah. I mean,
he's
Ready
a good
Player One,
director
right?
fan.
You had
Yeah,
Kong
like,
and Mechagodzilla in Ready Player One,
yeah.
so he dabbled a little bit.
Hmm.
But yeah, that would be obviously that would be awesome. And then you know, I mean, he did do War of the Worlds as well,
Mm.
which was kind of very similar in a way, I guess. But how do you likely do you think a Godzilla Destroy All Monsters movie is? How likely do you think this is? Do you think no, it's never happened, or what do you think?
I yeah, this I feel like this would probably be the last Monsterverse film or chapter because like I mean
Yeah,
it's just I feel like it is gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be the next chapter, but I do think it is gonna happen.
oh, so you don't think this is possible for the next chapter?
No, I think they are gonna do it for like the finale, but
Well, again, this is the thing, Hop. This next one could be the finale. And it likely is, because right now Legendary only has the option
mm,
apparently to go for like one more year. And we're hearing that Toho is looking to pull back. So it's very likely that if they were to do another one, it would be the last one. So it's very possible Legendary, like, well, if it's going to be the last one, I guess we should make it a special one and wrap everything up. And how
mm,
perfect then to do Destroy Monsters. So let's pretend that like
mm,
this is the because look, let's pretend like this is going to be the last one. Look, I would love them to do all of these. I would love every single one of these to
mm.
happen, but the reality is it's very likely that we could only get one more. So let's kind of say that for a second. How likely do you think this is then?
Oh well, then that'll be very, very, very 100% likely. I already even think it's
100%
I
likely.
100%. I'd be
Okay,
very bold in this.
a very what?
I would give a bold statement about that being the
Yeah.
last one.
So I mean, yeah. So all right. So do you have anything else you want to say about that?
Um, no, I don't have anything else to say about it other than
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see it. It'd be a great finale
All
to
right.
the Monsterverse.
So I pretty much have two more possibilities. So I'm saving the most unlikely one for last. I'm saving the most
Oh,
unlikely one.
okay.
So this next possibility is also extremely unlikely, but but
Hmm.
um and that is this: a MonsterVerse film centered around one or two of the other Titans that we saw in King of the Monsters.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So it could be Celia, it could be Behemoth,
Yeah.
it could be the one that came out of the mountain that everybody seems to forget the name of.
Hmm.
It could be another about the Muto or something. It could be with more than one of them. Uh, how likely do you think that is?
I mean, I guess it's a little bit likely. Like, I don't know which one they would do.
Right.
Well, but uh, I
Or all
mean,
of them. Like if they do like focus on like one in particular, but make appearances on others. Maybe they do
yeah.
one movie that has like two of them. Maybe I don't know.
Hmm. Um.
But to be fair, that to me is another reason that to believe that Destroy All Monsters could be the next one because they introduced all these other Titans,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
But I mean, to because really, they kind of already did Destroy Monsters a little bit in King of the Monsters, but it was Ghidorah, so they could do it
Hmm.
like full on, like, and we could actually really see the monsters go at it and stuff in a Destroy All Monsters movie. So yeah, but anyway, continue. Go back to what you were saying.
Um. I would think. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Uh, seeing like them doing a film with one of those monsters. I think it'd be kind of
Hmm.
cool to have like one of those monsters, or maybe even a new monster put into the.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I doubt. I really doubt. To me, it's completely unlikely that they would do a movie about an original monster and not at least have set him up in the previous movie. Like if you're gonna do a movie that is neither Godzilla or Kong, I mean it's pretty obvious you do it about one of the ones that showed up in King of the Monsters. It's just obvious. It's just
Hmm.
like because you've already got that built in because people have already seen it. It's like, oh, Right. I saw this. Okay, and they're doing like that's kind of like so how like
Eh,
you had just glimpses of Aquaman and the Flash and Batman vs Superman, and then they got their own movies. You know, you get what I
mhm.
mean? So like it doesn't. Seems kind of silly to just kind of do a completely original monster, and just like it's like you already have like this built-in one set up. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. But so I mean, how like so do you think it's very likely that there could be a movie based on one or two of them or not?
I think it's sort of halfway, I would say.
So not too likely, you think? Probably more
Yeah.
unlikely. All right.
50-50.
So I also actually have a bonus one.
You have a
I have a
bonus
bonus
one?
one, but I'm gonna say the ridiculous, most unlikely one, and that's this: Godzilla meets Pacific Rim.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I
Godzilla.
mean,
Now, look. To be fair, unlike the last two, this one actually does have something to go off of.
oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You didn't know?
No, I didn't.
Well, yes, they've talked about before. Guillermo del Toro, who's the of course director of Pacific Rim, has talked about before about he has had actually some interest in possibly doing crossing over Pacific Rim with Godzilla.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and also I think it was the director of Pacific Rim Uprising said that he also had been interested in possibly doing, and that there had been discussions about doing a crossover between Pacific Rim and the MonsterVerse as well. And both he and Guillermo del Toro said that there were no actual real plans, and that it was all very kind of unlikely and stuff. But it's so but they have said that there's actually been real discussions about it. So it's believe it or not, as crazy as this one sounds,
It,
it's not going
it
off of
could.
nothing. It's actually like they did actually at least at one point talk about actually doing it. So
Hmm.
how how likely do you think Pacific Rim meets Godzilla is?
Oh, well then. Um, that changes things up a bit.
Yes.
Uh, I mean, I would love to see that film.
Who
I would.
wouldn't?
Like, yeah.
You imagine if they did Destroy Monsters and then at the end, like there's like a post credit scene where you see like Gypsy Danger. Oh, just like in shadow, just stuff like you just see like the big red kind of engine because kind of slowly start to go
Mm-hmm.
round.
Mm-hmm.
No, you wouldn't get hyped for that.
I would.
I think everybody would lose their mind. And Pacific Rim is doing very well right now with the new anime series. It's been received
Yes.
very well. It's just surprisingly good, and
I mean,
so
yeah. I would probably put this like where what we just talked about. Probably maybe like halfway,
yeah.
maybe.
As they did, I mean, Guillermo del Toro did say, just because we talked about it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. He's like, we talked about it, but that's it. It's not actually any actual real plans to do it. I mean, there aren't even
Mhm.
any real plans to do another Pacific movie, let alone a Pacific Rim meets Godzilla movie. So yeah, it is probably going to be unlikely. But I mean, the fact that everybody, I think, and their dog would want to see it,
Mhm.
I don't know, it
Yeah.
makes maybe they're like, you know what, screw it, Pacific Rim meets Godzilla. So yeah. So before we go here, there's one more one, and this is even more unlikely if it can get any more unlikely. But to me,
Mhm.
it is possible, and that's Gamera.
Oh, I knew that Gamma was
Gamera.
gonna come in here somehow.
There's been a lot of rumors and stuff going around. The Legendary have been trying to acquire Gamera, and that they want to put Gamera in the Monsterverse. But again, that's all rumor and hearsay. There's been no actual official
Yeah.
confirmation of that. I mean, look, there's been a lot of people, especially in the last couple of years, that have been clamoring for a Gamera movie. Like, let's get another Gamera movie. It's been over 10 years since the last Gamera film. It's like, Kong came back, Godzilla came back, Ultraman is coming back. Everything like kaiju related thing has been able to come back somehow. Pacific Rim has been able to come back and stuff. After it kind of the last movie didn't do so well. So look, but but not Gamera. Gamera's like the one last kaiju related thing that hasn't been able to come back yet, and people are like,
Yeah.
where is Gamera? So, how likely do you think a Gamera movie is? I mean, would you love to see?
I would
I mean,
love
look,
to
who
see
would
it,
love to
but
see Gamera, Godzilla, and Kong on the same screen as one
I
another? How
know, right?
awesome would that be?
Yeah.
So,
It's very unlikely, sadly.
yeah, but how? So, do you think no way in hell?
No,
No chance, no chance. Oh,
no
not even a
chance.
sliver. Not even a sliver. You don't think it's
I'll give
happening?
I'll give it 0.1%.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. If they do a Gamera film, I would love it if they like got Peter Jackson to come back.
Oh, really? Just to
Yeah,
do?
yeah. I know. I would
Oh
love
my
Peter
god.
Jackson to come to do a Monsterverse film as well, obviously. But I don't
Yeah.
think he'd want to do Kong. I think he would want to do something else. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what's funny. Well, is it
Yeah. It's like, I'm sick of that.
like I'm not? I
Kong.
don't. I'm sick of this monkey. It's like I don't like the way he's been done here. But and who knows? I mean, look, like I said before, maybe who knows? Maybe that Hollow Earth Kong film. Maybe he comes back to do that. How awesome would that be? I would
Maybe.
love that.
Yeah.
But that's very unlikely. I doubt it's
Hmm.
that's gonna happen. But so there you go. That's pretty much all of them. So Hoff,
Hmm.
out of that list, which one do you think is the least likely, and which one do you think is the most likely?
The least likely, if we're going off, well, least likely out of that list is definitely the Gamera one.
Yeah,
But
but minus the Gamma one, which one do you think is the most unlikely after that?
probably the Skull Island prequel.
Really? So you think that the Pacific Rim meets Godzilla is more
Oh,
likely than the
well,
Kong Skull Island prequel?
maybe they're both tied,
Okay.
just for
All
unlikeliness.
right. And what do you think is the most likely?
I, it's, it's sort of tied. It's sort of a freeway tie. It's Destroyer Monsters, Rodan, and
Hmm.
the Kong Hollow Earth. Those
Oh,
are the three that
but
are
which is the one that you think has the best chance of happening
of the
of
best.
those three?
I think
Let's pretend for a second that those are the three that Legendary are looking at moving forward with. Which is the one that you think they move forward with right now?
I gotta say it's
It's tough.
it's really
I
tough.
would love to see all of these, honestly, but
Yeah, I think in my opinion, I think it might be Destroy Monsters. I think
really,
like
yeah,
I
okay,
mean deter me from what Toho said by getting back the
yeah. They seem to be
person.
really eager to take it away from Legendary. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. So that's pretty good. And my last question for you, before I give my thoughts and stuff, is of all of them, which is the one that you would want to see the most? So not the one you think is most likely, but the one that you want to see the most.
The one I want to see the
Yeah, like if
most.
you could choose, if they were like, Hav, which one do we
Uh,
do? And you had the ability out of all of that list, which one would you be like, let's do this one?
uh,
And knowing that the possibility that there might never be another one.
that there might not be another one. Probably maybe the Kong one, the Kong Hollow Earth.
A Hollow Earth Kong film?
Yes.
That would be the
I
one that you choose?
Mhm.
So even if like it would most likely be like the last one, you'd still be like, all right.
Yeah, I think I think I would want that. It's like
Mhm.
it's
Even
it,
more
like
than Destroy All Monsters?
just a little bit more. It's because
Really?
I really want to see more of the Hollow Earth
Yeah.
and
I
just
mean, I
like
feel the same. That is the one that I want to see the most. That is.
mhm.
I also feel like, even if, because here's the thing, another reason why I think they will move forward with that one is because look, even if Guns, a lot of people forget this, and I forget this sometimes myself. But if Toho does end up taking back Godzilla, and of course that would mean all the Godzilla characters would go with him,
Yep.
so no more of Rodan or Mothra or anything like that. That would all go with Godzilla, obviously. There's also some people have said that Toho somehow owns all of the original Titans that were made in King of the Monsters. How the hell that works, I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of people have claimed that's the case. It's kind of dumb if that is the case, but so it's possible that if they do take Godzilla, all of those Titans go as well. Like I'm pretty sure they somehow have ownership over the Mutos as well. So the Mutos, if Godzilla gets taken away, it's possible that everything gets taken except for Kong. Because that's the thing. Kong doesn't get taken with Godzilla because Kong is its own thing. So even if it does look like Godzilla takes away Godzilla, then they could just continue this universe with Kong, and honestly, Godzilla has nothing to do with the Hollow Earth. Like pretty much nothing. Except we know his ancestors there a long time ago and stuff. But you can pretty much just cut out all of the references to Godzilla and stuff for future movies, and just stay in the Hollow Earth. Just stay in the Hollow Earth, stay with Kong. So theoretically they could still continue the universe. The only problem would be if they do end up doing more than one, and actually end up doing like 4 or 5 more, eventually somebody's gonna go, but where's Godzilla? Why are we sticking with Kong? I don't understand. That's the only problem, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's like it'd be hilarious if they do like a Hollow Earth Kong film. It's like, and Godzilla's dead. All right. Anyway, so what? No, but Harv, do you think that's possible that they could still continue it? That they would continue it even if Godzilla got taken away?
I mean, I guess it's possible if it got really, really successful as well. Like, I guess they could, but yeah, that is probably what people would probably say. Like, which could.
Because I'm not entirely sure who owns Kong right now. I don't know. Like, I believe Universal are the ones that currently own Kong. Because I mean, I know Universal, they have like the rights to King Kong. The King Kong, like the merchandising rights, they pretty much have that for like the rest of eternity, from what I understand, and that's why they're able to do like the theme park rides and stuff. I don't know if they have like the actual rights like to the King Kong media itself anymore. That might be at Warner Brothers now. I'm not sure, but if from what I understand, whoever owns King Kong, whether it's Warner Brothers or if it's Universal or whatever, from what I understand, whoever's got their hold on the King Kong keys is basically, from what I understand, and this could be wrong, but from what I understand, they're basically happy with us to do King Kong movies next like 20 years or whatever. They like, yeah, great, free money, bring it in, So like, I don't know. I mean, so I don't think we really need to worry about the rights reverting back to Universal or whatever for King Kong, because it looks like when it comes to Kong, everybody's like, yeah, great, do more with King Kong Legendary. So I don't know. So I don't think we really need to worry about King Kong, which is another reason why that one seems the most likely is the Hollow Earth Kong film. So yeah, I thought we were going to end this video with like polar opposite opinions, but it's kind of crazy that we both think not only do we both want to see that one, but it's the one we think is the most likely. So so what do you guys think? Do you guys think that any of these are possible? Do you think there's any other ones that you think are possible next chapters that happen? And
or do you completely disagree with us?
Yeah, do you completely disagree with us? Jump in the comments down below. Let us know which ones you think are likely, and do you think there's any other ones that we left out that you think could be possible as well? So yeah. So until next time, be sure to consume as much entertainment as possible, and I will see you in the next video.